The funniest thing about y'all be so out of order and don't even know y'all be out of order. You trying to find a rich to fund your lifestyle and pay for your dream wedding, when in tradition your broke daddy the one that's supposed to be paying for the wedding. But see, listen, this is where a lot of up at, because their whole relationship, they're setting this standard with their new man that their daddies never told them no. They always got princess treatment. They seen their daddies take care of their mamas. Wookie bam. But soon as it come time to pay for that wedding, you don't never see them daddies involved. So shut the.
So this is how you know, like, when you're not ready to date. So my friend told me that a guy she's seeing is coming into town this weekend, and he's going to be here like the whole weekend. And I was like, oh God, like the whole weekend? He's going to be in your space for like days in a row? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I said, I don't want anyone in my space for more than 2 to 3 hours tops. I can't imagine someone being in my home, in my bed, in my kitchen, my bathroom. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not ready to date. I'm staying single, because that is not happening to me.
Now, y'all gonna be talking about how men don't be coming out and dating y'all. They don't be taking y'all out. They not paying attention to y'all. And how men don't want to buy, don't want to give y'all all of the things that you ever wanted, don't want to take you out on the Titanic replica and hold you from behind while you spread out your arms like an eagle. They don't do none of those romantic things for you. And here you are talking about some stupid stuff when these people have decided to be in a relationship. And here you are talking about how you would never allow that to happen. Now, I understand from looking at your profile, you're talking about being divorced and stuff like that. But maybe, just maybe for this instance, you can keep that to yourself. There was another clip where a woman was allowing her man to drive her car around, and it was okay. But when a woman came up to her and said, you allow your man to drive your car? All of a sudden, she's planting seeds of doubt in her head as to the man doing things wrong, messing up a relationship. It could be the case that he's doing things wrong, but it could also be the case that he's not doing anything at all. He's actually out there taking care of business, and they're down to just one car right now. Times are tough. That might be it. But what modern women will do, because they were miserable, they will go and make their friends who seem to be having success miserable as well. Instead of telling them, hey, I went through a divorce. This is what I would watch out for. And if you're going to be with that man, these are kind of the questions that I would ask. Something like constructive to help them navigate their relationship so they don't end up in a terrible spot. I'm wondering, if a woman were to go out for a job, would you tell them, well, I don't know if I would take that $100,000 job, really, to be honest with you. I don't know. No, you would most likely say, well, here are some things that you should look out for, but I can't make your decision for you. I'm not going to make that for you. You got to do what's best for you. That's what I think that you guys should be doing. You can give them the lowdown, the 411, whatever, however you want to do to help. But too many times y'all say everything and stop just short of saying men are trash. You should hate them. Get out of that relationship now. And sometimes you do actually say that. And when the woman comes to look back on her life and you be like, wait a minute, that man wasn't doing any of that. And sometimes it does come out after he's married to somebody else. She finds out, wait a minute, all of that stuff that I was thinking was because of her, my girlfriend that said she was my friend. So I just feel like modern women should be careful about that stuff, because somebody that's hurt could come up and say things to influence what you're thinking, and then you all in your head and you ruin what you got going on that was good.
One thing I cannot stand about this generation is y'all have no sense of competition. Like, what do you mean as soon as you see somebody doing something for me, you're thinking, oh, I'm a back off? One up him. Do better. Where's the sense of competition? May the best one win. You're not being the best right now. You're being a giver-upper. And I don't like that.
No, that's not going to happen. Modern women want to try to mishandle men's emotions when it suits them. And in this case, we're talking about pride, arrogance, boastful. You want a man not to be prideful. You want a man to lay down his ego and listen to you and understand you, right? But when it comes to men giving you attention and validation, then yes, let your pride win out. When we go to the club and we see a man over here buying bottles, we want another man to come over and say, oh man, this man ain't going to outspend me. You such a baddie. I'm going to buy you 2 bottles. That man goes, I'm going to buy you 3. And it was just a great night, man. All of us, and it was about 10 of us women in there, and all of us had bottles in our hands. All of us had 2 bottles, and the men were just paying, and we were so great. That's what you want. It's nothing but pride, ego, arrogance. That's it. And you're wanting a man in this situation to outspend another man. The man that loses just wasted money, and he allowed his pride to get in the way of what he actually should have done. And that's, okay, bro, she seems like she likes you. Let me go ahead and let you have that. I wish you the best. And when this bro gets tired of her and lets her back out to the street, you want to come crawling. I remember this was my second biggest spender. Hey, I'm free now. That didn't work out. And you spin some type of story about how he was mishandling you verbally, physically, mentally, whatever it is, to make that man feel sorry for you and take you. Absolutely not. Number 2 is, if you portray yourself on the internet like this, how am I going to take this back home to my mother, to my parents, to my sister? How am I going to take this back? I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. They're going to laugh me right out the house. You got to show off everything. Admittedly, you're not as bad as some of these other women, but let me talk about your attitude for a minute. This little twisting and twirling and spinning on the camera. I know you think it's cute, but most men don't. They don't think that's cute. Most men don't want their woman, showing off everything to the world. It's like, man, how is that exclusive to me? It's not. It's not. And so that's not what men want. So you got a couple of things to work on right here. The way you dress, the way you portray yourself, and the things that you're asking for before you actually get a man that has any substance or any value. Oh, LD, you tripping. You just hating. I am. What is this? What is this? I'm tripping. She not that bad. Oh, I am. Oh, okay. At this point, it makes me think that she has a website somewhere. I don't see it, but that's what it makes me think. Nah, I ain't see no OF, but nah, I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm all right. This is what you want me to bid for. This is what you want me to bid for. Huh? I'm done.
I think a lot of women are bothered because they can't lust over my body like they do other creators, right? The fact that I choose to use my brains, my intelligence, my voice, and speak out in an intelligent way, that bothers them. They would much rather you use your body, use your beauty, right, to make them feel good. And trust me, if I wanted to do that, I know for a fact, my platform would be up, because they want to see you do your makeup. They want to see you get dressed. They want to see you in no clothes. They want to see your butt. They want to see all the things so they can lust over you. There's an agenda out here, y'all, for women to be with women. And we see the comments about I'm no better than a man. I watched this 50,000 times. There's an agenda. They want to watch you to lust over you. They want to silence our voices because they want to just watch you. So when you are calling things out, when you are saying what needs to be said, even though it makes them uncomfortable, you look like the crazy one. So seeing women who are beautiful and also intelligent, I guess is very rare in our community for whatever reason. But everyone doesn't have to show their behind to grow their platform. Everyone doesn't have to show their body to get what they want. Some people can use their brains, their educated brains, to be able to create whatever it is that they want.
So a woman goes on a first date with a guy, and at the restaurant, she orders to-go plates for all her kids back at home. And that's on his tab. Now, I don't think that that's okay. because you didn't have any choice in bringing those children into this world. They have fathers of their own, and you are not him. And you trying to speak to the mother, get to know the mother, you didn't take on any of the responsibility for said children. So there is a right and a wrong. However, since we know that in our society, more and more women are trying to bamboozle y'all with this, you need to go ahead and be smart. Start asking these questions ahead of time. Before you invite anybody out with you, before you offer to take somebody on a date, find out if they have kids. Find out if they're going to be taking care of their own child care, because it is absolutely absurd that women are expecting men, just because you're having a conversation with absolutely nothing promised in return, and no expectation should be there of what you get in return. There shouldn't be an expectation on either side. You need to go ahead and have all the information before taking her out.
40% of babies that are being born right now are being born to single mothers. 40%. I saw this in a video and I was like, there's no way. It can't be that high. It can't be that bad. Society can't be that bad right now. And I Googled it. There you have it. 40% outside of wedlock. I am so scared for the future. If we think our society is weak now, imagine all these kids that are being raised right now by single moms and what that's going to create for the future. Most of the people that are in jail were raised by a single mom. Why is having a baby taken so lightly these days? This is the biggest decision that you will ever make in your life. Having a baby and who you will have the baby with. Stop having kids out of wedlock. If you don't think the person is good enough to marry, then why would that person be good enough to have a baby with?
If a man wants to have his own biological children, then he has the right to select a woman who is healthy and fertile enough in order to give him biological children. This does not make him a predator. Like, we're not talking about if a man seeks out 16-year-old girls. We're talking about if a man just wants to make sure that you're both on the same page, you both want biological children, and that she is mindful about her health and fertility, and that she's been taking care of herself, and perhaps even has some test results to say that she's still fertile and she's healthy, and there's no reason to think otherwise. But you never really know until you try, unfortunately. Vetting for a woman who is young and healthy enough to be fertile, if you want biological children, is totally legitimate. It's not make a man a predator. This other claim that you don't start to lose eggs until you're 40 as a woman, also extremely inaccurate. We're always losing eggs, right? Like, it's just a reality. Unfortunately, we have to face that. To clarify, ovulation is the act of an egg leaving our body. So every single month, we're losing an egg or two. So we're always losing eggs from the time that we start having our period. And we can still have children well into our 40s, even some women in their 50s by chance, but you don't want to take this for granted. But you absolutely do have a drop in your quality and quantity of eggs in your 30s. And so you want to hack fertility, you want a fertility max, and you can optimize your fertility. You can extend fertility because you only need one viable, healthy egg in order to have a natural, healthy child. But it's not easy. So I'm 45 and I have a 7-month-old. So I did it naturally, and it's definitely possible. So we do want to give people hope, but at the same time, do not encourage people to wait, because it might be too late for some people. And make sure that you are fertility maxing from early on, as early as possible, your entire life. It's actually the fountain of youth. It makes you very youthful, very beautiful, very healthy. Why not? And this last point that you said about sexual purity is not talking about an innocent child. They're sexually pure. But when we're talking about a woman, a grown woman, we're saying that it's important for a woman to have selectivity, for her to have discernment, for her to be disciplined, and for her to see intimacy as sacred. So she's not just giving herself to the wrong people and not recognizing the consequences of that, because there is a spiritual consequence, there is a physical consequence, there is an emotional consequence, and there's a relational consequence too. So you're going to be bringing a lot of emotional baggage forward in your relationships if you're promiscuous. That's just the way that it is. So I urge people, because it's okay if you make mistakes, but at least learn from them and change your behavior. But for a man or a woman to be looking for someone who has those qualities and respects intimacy and the sanctity of marriage and exclusivity, that is absolutely healthy. So I hope that helped clear things up.
So, of course, there's a woman in the comments that said something like this. And this woman had to go back and forth with her. She's a doctor, by the way. Said, that's all fine and dandy as long as you remember a man's sperm quality is declining by 30. Hope you got picked. She responds, married with a baby, men's fertile window is much longer than ours, but we are all affected by environmental and lifestyle toxins. That is true. She comes back and says, and I have grown daughters who are at an age you're comfortable with old men chasing them. So your expertise, quote unquote, is much lower than mine. She comes back and says, people who assume all age gap relationships are predatory are focusing on the worst case scenarios. There are many healthy, happy age gaps to prove the generalization wrong a significant amount of time. That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. And modern women, once again, always go to the extremes. If a man is making $50,000, he's extremely broke. If a man is making $100,000, he's extremely rich. And now they've upped the ante to $200,000 minimum. 6 foot minimum. 6-pack minimum. 6 inches minimum. And all that other nonsense. But unfortunately, out of all this talking that men do in this space, all the talking that women do in this space, biology is still biology. And your body is what it is.
I never had someone get so upset and so mad because I told her, I was like, hey, I don't really date people with kids. I don't like people with kids. She blocked me, unmatched me on Hinge and everything. All right, so I was talking to this girl on Hinge a couple weeks ago, and I did do my settings for people that don't have kids. I did put that. For a preference for me, I prefer no one with kids. So I'm talking to this girl. We're having good conversation. Everything's good. We're texting for like 3 days, maybe 2 days, 2-3 days. We're texting 2 or 3 days. And then, I'm asking her a bunch of, shit I should know. And I even told her, I was like, yo, tell me something that I wouldn't know about you. Kids never came up in this.
Of course
One
not.
day we were talking, and then she told me, she was like, hey, yeah, I do want to mention something to you. Or she said, I want to run something by you. And I said, okay. She's like, I do have a daughter, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. I hope that's okay. And I'm like, hey, like, I get it. You have a daughter. I respect that. I said, hey, but
Not
at
for
the end
me.
of the day, I wish you would have put that on your profile
Yep,
because I
not
have
for
my
me.
settings set to where it says no kids. Like, I prefer people with no kids.
Yep.
I'm not lying. This girl goes the off on me. Like, she starts like sending me long paragraphs and telling me all kinds of crazy stuff. She starts telling me like I'm not a real man because I wouldn't step up to the plate if a girl had a kid and I really liked her.
Of course not.
This, that, and the third. And I'm like, hang on for a second. You have certain preferences or a certain type of guy that you like.
That's right.
And if I didn't fit that criteria, you wouldn't be talking to me.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure if I was 5'8", 5'9", she wouldn't be talking to me. She just started going off on me. And then all I did, I sent the thumbs up emoji. I think that it made her even more pissed off. At this point, I don't even care.
This is funny to me because when a man has a boundary, number one, modern women always get offended by it. They always get offended by it. They can never accept it. But when they have standards, oh, I ain't settling, hype me up. That's number one. Number two, y'all get mad at men if they were to be 40, 50 years old using their profile from 20 years, they picture from 20 years ago. That's a problem. Oh, you told me you was 6 foot. You really actually 5'9". I know you 5'9" because I'm 5'9" and healed. I'm really 5'4". So it really doesn't matter that I'm actually 5'9" because you're shorter than me. No, because with heels on, shut your stupid behind up. Shut up. Shut up. That's dumb. Y'all get mad at a man for saying that. And we can all agree that people are wrong. Men are wrong for lying. But then you go and intentionally leave this type of information off. Whatever it is, maybe you didn't see the little ticker mark or checker box there that says, okay, yes, I have kids. Maybe you didn't see that. But somewhere in your profile, when you had an opportunity to write, you had kids, you could have said you had kids. You didn't even have to say, you could say, I'm a single mom and looking for somebody who, and then go on about your business. But too many times, modern women try to hide stuff. And when a man finds it out and confronts them, they do things like this.
I have a whole kid. And what? So I got a whole kid. What? And what?
I'm sorry you got a whole kid.
And what? And what? And what?
I'm sorry you got a whole
And what? And what?
I didn't say shit.
Okay then.
I'm sorry you got a whole.
So there's a few things going through my mind right now. So number one is women always like to say that men don't protect them. They don't provide for them. But do y'all see that blonde woman, young lady back there with a young man wrapped up in his arms? Doesn't look like any time in the video did she push back out of his arms to try to rush over there and hold her back and say, hey, no, wait a minute. We don't need to be putting our hands on people. Even if you don't physically wrap your arms around her in a bear hug, you can pull her shoulder back, like pull her arm. Hey, no, we don't do that. Hey, come on now. Like, come on over here. You're strong when you want to be strong. You're strong and brave and courageous when you're out here showing your body and you're behind at all types of weights and stuff like that. But how come you're not strong and courageous and brave when she just put her hands on a man? Huh? Is that okay? Is that acceptable? Number two, you got the woman back there behind the camera laughing while she puts her hands on this man. And you wonder why men don't want to be involved in that type of stuff. Because he's supposed to allow it. He put his hands, hey, I didn't touch her. Now I don't want it. It's sad that he puts his hands up and he's like, I want to make sure everybody knows that I didn't put my hands on her. I wasn't even threatening. I wasn't even about to touch her. And people just sitting back here watching him be done like this. That's number one. My second point is I'm hoping for her sake that this is one of those instances that maybe there's more to the clip and maybe he had said something that was derogatory and hateful and threatening and we're just getting a small sample, a small part of the clip. And so now we're just getting her reaction and maybe that's what it was. I'm hoping for your sake, this is what it is. Still in all, in any event or any case, you don't have the right to put your hands on him. So I don't know why you did that. But I'm hoping just to give you the benefit of the doubt that maybe you just lost control. But once again, even at that, modern women take this, oh, I'm just going to lose control too far. And they just lose control when it's convenient. But if a man lose control, haul off and knock you across the road over there into that little thing through that plastic that they got over there, then all of a sudden it's a problem. And he needs to control his emotions. He should have never been in her face. But y'all can't find no time to say that she should have never been in his face. Interesting.